At just 21, Angelina thought her life was just beginning, but a tragic accident took everything away, and she found herself somewhere unexpected, a realm that would change her understanding of life, death, and everything in between. What she saw was nothing like what we are told about the afterlife. The shocking truth she returned with is something that might change the way we live. This isn't just a story of what happens when we die. It's about the lessons that can make us rethink how we approach each moment of our lives. Angelina was living her best life as a young adult, working, studying, and making plans for the future. But one ordinary evening changed everything. While driving home, she was involved in a car accident that left her body lifeless and her future uncertain. At the scene, her body was rushed to the hospital. The paramedics worked frantically, but they couldn't revive her. In that moment, her soul separated from her physical form, and she found herself floating above it, observing the chaos below. She wasn't scared. In fact, she felt a strange sense of calm, as if her soul already knew where it was headed. There was no pain, no fear, only peace. It was as though she had stepped into a new existence, a world beyond what she had ever known. This experience marked the beginning of a journey that would forever change how she viewed life, death, and the very fabric of existence. Angelina described the transition from life to death as an unexpected, seamless flow. There was no tunnel of light, as most people expect. Instead, she found herself in a vast open space, filled with colors and sensations she couldn't even name. In this space, time didn't exist. There were no clocks, no schedules, no sense of hurry. It felt like a never-ending moment where everything blended together in perfect harmony. She didn't know if she was moving or if everything else was, but it felt like the world had slowed down just for her. As she explored the space, she noticed figures, beings she couldn't quite describe, but they emanated warmth and understanding. They didn't look human, but their presence was comforting. They didn't speak words, but Angelina understood everything through feelings, emotions, and a sense of deep knowing. For the first time, Angelina realized that death wasn't the end, but a transition, a shift into something different, something far beyond the material world. One of the most profound aspects of her journey was what she called the life review, but it wasn't what most people expect. It wasn't a judgment or a divine decision on her fate. Instead, it was a reflection, a full experience of how her actions had affected the world around her. Angelina felt every joy and every sorrow she had ever caused. She didn't just see moments, she felt them. She could feel the happiness her small acts of kindness brought others, but also the pain caused by her mistakes and misunderstandings. This wasn't about guilt, it was an understanding. She saw how the energy of each action ripples outward, affecting not just her immediate circle, but the broader world. Her life wasn't isolated, it was interconnected with everyone else's. The realization was both humbling and enlightening. It was clear to Angelina that our lives are not just about achieving goals, but about how we connect with others, how we love and support each other. She saw that every moment of kindness has the power to change the world, even if we can't always see it. As Angelina continued her journey through this otherworldly realm, she encountered beings that weren't like humans, but who radiated a sense of peace and understanding. These beings didn't have physical forms, but their presence was undeniable. She later described them as guides. They didn't offer her a judgment of her life or a roadmap to the afterlife. Instead, they helped her to see herself more clearly. Through them, Angelina came to understand that the human experience was not about striving for perfection, but learning, growing, and evolving. These guides were not bound by time or space. They seemed to know everything about her joys, fears, desires, and regrets. Yet, there was no sense of judgment or shame. Instead, there was a sense of compassion, as if they saw her for who she truly was, beyond her human flaws. Through these beings, Angelina came to understand that we are all part of something far greater, a universal consciousness where every soul plays an important role. After what felt like an eternity in the realm of energy, Angelina was presented with a choice. She could stay in this peaceful state, free from all earthly concerns, or she could return to her body and resume her life. This was not an easy decision for her. The allure of staying in such a serene, enlightened place was undeniable. But at the same time, she felt a deep sense of responsibility. There were people who loved her, dreams she hadn't yet fulfilled, and lessons she still needed to learn. She asked the guides for advice, but they simply told her that the choice was hers. They didn't offer answers, only the understanding that she had a purpose, something she had yet to fulfill. With this newfound clarity, Angelina made the decision to return, but the journey back was not immediate. It felt like being pulled through layers of energy, each one more intense than the last, until she finally woke up in the hospital bed. When Angelina opened her eyes, she was no longer in the realm she had just visited. She was back in her physical body, weak and bruised, surrounded by concerned loved ones. The sudden return to her human form was disorienting. Though she was alive, she felt changed. Her mind was flooded with the profound lessons she had learned during her time in the other world. The first thing she noticed was the incredible sense of gratitude she felt for life itself. The mundane tasks she once took for granted now seemed precious. Her near-death experience had shown her the interconnectedness of all beings, and she couldn't return to her old mindset. Every choice she made now carried more weight. She felt a responsibility not just for herself, but for the world around her. But with her return came a question. How could she live differently, knowing what she now knew? How could she apply the lessons from the afterlife to her everyday existence? Angelina began to see the world differently. What once seemed like a never-ending list of tasks now felt like a precious opportunity to make a difference. She realized that every moment of life, no matter how small, held immense value. She understood that the pursuit of material wealth and external success wasn't what truly mattered. What was important was the impact we have on others, the love we share, and the kindness we offer. She now viewed every interaction as an opportunity to contribute positively to the world. Her relationships took on new meaning. She began to nurture them with intention, understanding that each connection was sacred. There was no room for petty grudges or unresolved conflicts. She accepted forgiveness and began to live with a greater sense of empathy. This new outlook on life became her guiding force. She no longer worried about what others thought of her because she understood the importance of living authentically and aligned with her deeper values. The beings she encountered in the afterlife had taught her one central lesson: the power of compassion. In their presence, Angelina felt no judgment, no condemnation, only an overwhelming sense of love and understanding. She realized that the true measure of a person was not in their accomplishments or status, but in how they treated others. Compassion was the key to true spiritual growth. It was what connected all beings, transcending any barriers of race, religion, or culture. Angelina's experience made her more aware of the suffering in the world. She began to dedicate her life to helping others, not just through grand gestures, but in the small, everyday acts of kindness. She reached out to those who were struggling, offering her support and love in whatever way she could. This shift in focus brought her a sense of peace she had never known before. By extending compassion to others, she found that she was healing as well. The more love she gave, the more she received in return. Her journey also taught her the importance of living with purpose. No longer driven by societal expectations or superficial goals, Angelina began to follow her heart. She knew that each day was an opportunity to live intentionally, to contribute something meaningful to the world. She set out to pursue her passions with more dedication and focus. She knew that it wasn't enough to simply exist. She wanted to make a difference, however small it might seem. Every action she took was aligned with her higher purpose. Through her work, her relationships, and her personal growth, Angelina found fulfillment. She understood now that life was not about reaching some distant end goal, but about living each moment with awareness and intention. The fear of failure or judgment no longer held her back. She knew that as long as she lived with integrity and love, she was on the right path. Angelina's experience didn't just change her, it had a ripple effect on everyone around her. Those who were close to her noticed a remarkable shift in her energy. She radiated peace, compassion, and a sense of purpose. Her friends and family were inspired by her transformation. They, too, began to live with greater intention, making conscious decisions to connect with others and live in alignment with their true selves. Angelina shared her story with those who were open to hearing it. Though some were skeptical, many others found comfort in her words. Her experience gave them hope and reminded them of the power of love and compassion. In this way, her journey beyond life became a beacon for others, showing them that there is more to life than meets the eye. Her near-death experience also brought a new understanding of death itself. It wasn't something to fear or resist. Rather, death was a transition, a part of the natural cycle of life. Angelina no longer saw death as an end, but as a continuation of the journey. The afterlife was not a place of punishment or reward, but a space of growth, learning, and understanding. She realized that death, in many ways, was a teacher. It reminded us of the preciousness of life and the importance of living in alignment with our true selves. Angelina's story is one of hope, transformation, and deep insight. What she saw during her journey beyond life challenges everything we think we know about existence. She returned with profound lessons that we can all apply in our own lives. By living with purpose, compassion, and love, we can make the most of every moment. And perhaps, in doing so, we can live in a way that prepares us for whatever lies beyond. If you found Angelina's story enlightening, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more thought-provoking stories that challenge our perceptions of life, death, and everything in between.